welcome back to the Leah Moses Entrepreneur Podcast. And today's topic, we want to get right into starting from zero, right? In other words, utilizing resourcefulness when there are no resources. And so, when starting a business, in my last episode, I highlighted, the essentials of starting a business that dealt with, your ideas and all these kind of things. And so one might say, okay, I've found the idea, I made sure it was relevant to my market, it could bring value and all of that, but I don't have any money to start. I don't have the equipment I need to start, right? And so you might be stuck thinking that you have to put your plans on hold because you don't have what you think you need, right? Or you don't have what you need. And so what I like to encourage people is that sometimes it's not always about having the resources, but having the resourcefulness. And let me explain what I mean. In my personal example, before I got my commercial car, right, I didn't have the capital needed for another. However, from working before, right, in 2010 and 11 and 2010 to 2013, and even before that, I would have had a vehicle. I would have acquired a vehicle, and I understood that I want to get to the next level from having, this personal vehicle to now having a commercial vehicle, right? And so I didn't have the funds, but I was already in an affiliate program whereby I was making that funds. Nothing big that could have done anything significant, but I was making that, and I'll tell you where that came in just now. But I realized that, okay, from my previous activities, I would have had a vehicle. I currently have a vehicle. And so, really and truly, all I needed to do was get a loan. And then, when you get a loan for a vehicle, especially a commercial vehicle, more than likely you have to pay a down payment. So I was just like, okay, I will sell my vehicle, my current vehicle, in order to get that new vehicle, that commercial vehicle, right? It's not about, I didn't need to have my personal vehicle and a commercial vehicle because you don't want to go places in your personal vehicle. When you're ready to reach your goals, you have to make some changes. You have to be able to decide that here's what. It mightn't be the ideal. In that example, it mightn't be the ideal. You might want to, roll private from time to time. However, you're trying to accomplish something. So in that case, you can sell. So how does this apply to someone else? Okay, you may not be interested in getting a commercial vehicle, but the point I'm trying to make is that you may have some things at home of value that you can sell in the short term here so that you can accomplish certain things. You can at least start certain things, right? Of course, those people who are in a job and able to access financing, of course, we know that with the correct plan and also your credentials such as your job letter, your payslip and so on, it is possible for an employee to get financing from an institution to accomplish the goal. So that's another way it could be resourceful, right? Of course, people who are self-employed, again, usually once you follow the correct steps, which another episode will highlight, you can simply show bank statements if you're not an employee what you do business, right? Hopefully you would have been, passing your funds through an account whereby the bank could now say, okay, I'm seeing how your money was coming in, and so yes, we can grant you a loan to expand or to open something new or some kind of thing. So it's all about thinking of resourcefulness, right? Sometimes you need to sell some things that you might think is valuable. For example, you may have a laptop at home. A lot of people right now, they're using their mobile phones for browsing the internet. Some people even use it to watch movies, right? Or you may have a smart TV there that you may link up so that the laptop is kind of just on the side, for now. And truth be told is you may not want to part with the laptop, but then your laptop is mostly sitting there doing nothing for the majority of the week. So in that case, you're looking to do something. Let's say you need some money, right? Now, all the money may not come from just selling that one thing, but it's just an example of how you can start the ball rolling in terms of getting what you want. Now, let's just say what you want is not money, right? You don't need the money, you need something, an equipment, or you need a space or something like that. And so, again, sometimes we just have to do a little seeking, right? Making the right connections, aligning with the right people. And so I remember I was watching something recently where a restaurant owner, very successful now, was explaining that when they started, after they got their idea to sell food, they didn't have kitchen space to do the business, all right? But they had the vision, and so they just simply used their words, something that was free, and communicated, this, by the way, and was offered by a friend who had at the time a commercial kitchen space that is not in use during the hours that they want to operate. And so that is amazing. You see, sometimes once you align with the right people and you share your vision, and your vision is compelling enough, somebody else might be able to say, you know what, I can help you out with this. I have this that you can use. I have this that you can borrow. I have this, you can pay me when you begin to turn a profit. And so all that is a part of being resourceful. And so I implore people to start to think about the ways you can be resourceful. It's not about, living off of anybody or anything like that. That's not the mindset behind this thing. It's just the mindset that, you know what, you have to try to salvage. You have to try to see what you can utilize to get to your goals, be it finances, be it resources, be it the people that you need. There are ways in which you can accomplish this, right? You don't always have to have it from jump. And even I would obviously drop in this example here. People who have the resources, they oftentimes utilize their resourcefulness, right? A lot of them may go into the financial institutions and leverage them, right? Because they would have had that cash flow, and so the bank is eager to give them that loan or whatever, right? But they are eager to do that with them, and they understand that here's what, I'm not going to use all my money, even though I could. I'm going to leverage the people's money, which is stored at the bank, right? So there are ways in which we can be resourceful sometimes, and it may take some cutting off of the previous things we held on to. You might have items, as I said, that you can't seem to let go, but really and truly you could let it go, right? Another way you can be resourceful, right, which some people may not desire to take, is that if you are currently occupied between regular working hours, let's say as an employee, or you work for yourself but you work during the usual working hours, right? A part of being resourceful could be being doing freelance work on the side, or doing some kind of part-time thing on the side, whereby you can now gain an additional income. It don't have to be forever. It don't have to be long either, depending on the opportunity and the amount it pays and so on. You can be doing something on the side. You don't even have to be doing a job on the side, because there are so many affiliate opportunities that you can get involved in. Affiliate opportunities are often free, and all you do is basically get and drive sales to that particular offer or company, right? You have so many side businesses, home-based businesses. If you're not sure where to go, you can feel free to reach out to me at Leah CL Moses on social media, or go to my website at www.leahclmoses.com, and you can go to the contact form and get in contact with me, and let me help you see, how you can get your money, how you can raise that money to do what you have to do, right? So that was my quick podcast for today, right? I know usually it's a bit longer, but today I just wanted to really drop that nugget, because that just came into mind, that there may be a lot of people, with the desire to get started, but then as soon as that plan is on paper, you feel stuck. You lose hope. You get a little disappointed in the fact that you don't have, and then you probably look around and start to blame why you don't have, and who should have done what, and all that is really not healthy for you, right? So it's just about start thinking about being resourceful. Start looking around the place, because I tell you, there are many people who would have spoken about times when some emergency came up and you had to find money, and a lot of people could tell you that they don't know how it happened, but it happened. Funding came, finances came, right? It always happens. So if you just look at it like that, take things seriously, put a little urgency in it as well too. Don't do it slowly and linger, because then you may not see, the benefit, right? You may not see the full reward if you're doing it at a slow pace. Start to be resourceful. Start looking around the place. What can I get rid of? What do I not use, as often that somebody else might be able to buy, right? On Facebook, many items are selling daily. So you can always sell these things with the aim that, once you execute your plan, remember you would have put that idea on paper and had the essentials down. So more than likely you're going to be profitable. So now, even if that means 6 months down the road, you will buy back whatever you sold, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, as we like to say here in Trinidad and Tobago, ban your belly, right? Until that time whereby your profits can repurchase these items, right? Or get upgraded versions of the items that you would have sold also. That was my quick podcast today. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned next week Monday, whereby I will drop a next topic. If you have any ideas as to what you want me to speak on, what you would like me to explain to you via this podcast medium, be sure to message me. You can leave, if you're listening to this on Anchor, you can leave voice messages whereby I can insert it in the episode. So I will appreciate if you tell me how you have been resourceful in the past. Have you ever needed any funds? And then you utilize your resources, you start to make some calls, or you sold off some things to get to that goal. If you have done that, or you have used something, right, to accomplish a goal when you didn't have what you needed up front, I'll be happy to hear from you. And if you're listening on the other platforms, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you leave your comments, you leave, whatever, so that I can really get to hear and have that interaction with my listeners. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe. See you next time.